What's the best way to share simulation results? Let's talk about VCollab as an option. Okay, so let's talk about VCollab and what it does and how it's used in the design process to get simulation results kind of more broadly accessible. But to do that, I think we need a little bit of context first. So let's talk about how that is done today. So, and let's do that in two steps. First off, let's talk about how analysts prepare results and share it with engineers. And then let's talk about how engineers consume, open, navigate, review, collaborate on those results as part of the process. So let's talk about the expert analysts first. So they run their simulation, they have their post-processors, their solvers, preprocessors, that whole tool set to generate a result. So we're going to assume that's in place. Now, the way they make that widely accessible to executives and engineers is they will often take screenshots of the results, 2D image, and put that into a PowerPoint presentation or some type of presentation. And then they'll add commentary over the top of it, maybe adding in lines and circles and highlighting areas where there might be a problem or where potential modifications should be made to the design so that it performs better. They take that and then they give it to engineers. And then engineers open up the PowerPoint presentation, maybe in a project management review. Maybe it's a review at their desk, maybe with peers, maybe not. And they browse through that, right? And they get one set of information. So there's a couple problems with each end of this process, this established process that we're talking about. First off, for the analyst, it's pretty time consuming to go through and grab those images, to annotate it. And then if anything changes, say you want to explore lots of design iterations, well, you have to make modifications. You make another version of that. It's hard to update and change it. And the other issue is if there's a modification, a change to the results, it's a whole other version, right? And you have to share that out to the engineers and executives again. So it's not very efficient for the analyst side of things. For the engineers, basically you're looking at a degraded view of what's a very high fidelity set of results. So it's 2D, you really can't rotate it, kind of interrogate it, maybe look at other areas, and you're kind of stuck with this dumbed down version of the results, right? So you're not getting as much insight as you might otherwise. And you're not going to make as good of decisions because you don't have as much insight. You're not as well informed. Okay, so those are the established processes of how the analyst builds it, the result sets to share out to someone, and how the engineers and executives review it. So let's talk about how VCollab changes that. So with VCollab, basically you can open up the native finding results from a wide variety of post-processors and solvers. Okay. Once you have those results, it's a 3D, or if it's 2D, it stays 2D. But if it's a 3D set of results, you can spin it, you can pan, you can zoom, you can interrogate it. And the expert analyst can save different views, number one. Number two, they can add their annotations onto the 3D model. Okay, so you're creating this. You're not degrading the richness of the simulation results. You're maintaining that, and you're simply adding in your insights and setting up, hey, these are the views you want to look at, okay? So actually, it's faster for the expert analyst to go through and do that. Number two, when you give that out, and you share that rich set of findings, annotated findings out to executives and engineers, they no longer have this degraded view of the rich results. They have a full 3D set of results, if it's 3D, where they can rotate it, they can navigate the viewports or views that the analyst set up. They can actually, if you let them, and there are ways you can control this, you can let them interrogate the results on the 3D model. You can kind of toggle through the different views and bring up the annotations that the expert analyst shared. So this lets them get better insight into product performance. It actually lets them see an undegraded view of the results, right? So they have better insight into performance, and they can make better decisions. That's the key. So it's interesting how on both sides of this equation there are benefits, right? This isn't a situation where someone has to put in a lot more effort for someone downstream to get benefits. This is a benefit to both sides. The analyst actually spends less time preparing the results, and the engineers get this richer set of results that they can interrogate and look at. So this is one of those rare cases where both sides can win, interestingly enough. So that's it. Thanks. Take care and talk soon.